In 2017, Puerto Rico was hit by Hurricane Maria. This hurricane left the island absolutely devastated, and it is still struggling to recover from it. I interviewed Lady Lee Andrews, who is a poet and activist, about her experience utilizing art to heal through trauma. Her exhibition about Hurricane Maria is displayed at the Poets Passage in Old San Juan. The poetry that she has written about her trauma is on black canvases using white ink, which is why our discussions about the trauma are also in black and white.
So, what was life like for you before Hurricane Maria?
Well, before, I believe that I did not have any fear towards the future. I wanted to do so many things. I believed in myself, the confidence. You know, I saw great things, and I worked very hard. I just had a life to look forward to, a life that I was living and applying, my how I believe in, to my everyday, and I was happy.
Mm-hmm.
I was very happy. I honestly can say that just the question itself causes PTSD. In ways, like I don't know where to begin, and the idea that I'm looking at is how can I answer that question without touching the really delicate parts that can cause that trauma to come forth. So um, it was probably the worst experience of my life. Honestly, it was horrible.
Mm-hmm.
At the beginning, it was more like on autopilot. It felt like my body was doing what it thought I would do if I was in control. And I wasn't. So I literally went with whatever was happening at the moment, like a ping pong ball, or what is the game? The pinball machine?
Mm-hmm.
I was like a pinball machine. Wherever I hit, I dealt with whatever was coming my way.
Mm-hmm.
I was not there. I was not there. I was disconnected. So I just moved around with whatever the world, whatever obstacle I hit in the world, I went with that wherever it took me.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of places it wasn't a good thing, but I wasn't capable of making any choices because
Mm-hmm.
mentally I wasn't there.
So you were disassociating through the process.
Anyone could do anything to me.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't matter because I wasn't there. It didn't hurt. Even though like you being at the bottom of a well, you could see all these actions happening, but me, I was too down.
Mm-hmm.
I could be screaming for help, but I could not be heard. We all went into shock,
Mm-hmm.
and that shock has not been addressed to this day.
How would you say art has influenced your recovering process?
It is always the format or the bridge to recovery to me.
Mm-hmm.
It's and then also it shows you where you've been. Because you may not create what you created during that time ever again because you were living through it,
Mm-hmm.
and then it'll give you an insight of how it was then and how you feel now. So there's a balance in the past and the future.
Do you think art has empowered you?
Always, without question.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. 5 years ago, I told myself that I wasn't going to publish any more poetry books. And the reason for this was because I believed at one point your art clashes with providing what the public wants and who you are. And I found out that trying to impress the public, that I questioned my writing. It was always under scrutiny. Is it good enough? Is it good enough? Is it good enough to be printed? Is it good enough? And then that was creating a block, a mental block, a poetry, whatever. Um, and I said, well, I can't have that. It has to be eliminated. You wonder, is this successful? Are you failing? You go through all these trials and tribulations, and I'm like, no, no, no. But to see the word closed on my glass window every day was affecting me since I believe in words and the power that they hold. So I can't have this closed. I am a poet, and of course I'm going to tell you that if you're going through something emotional, there's only two forms of art to give that type of impact of the healing process within. And the most popular is music.
Mm-hmm.
But the most accurate is poetry. And I would advise to go listen to poetry, go to open mics, go listen to poets. And not necessarily a famous poet, because what you receive from young poets could be worth gold in your emotional system. And you wouldn't get it otherwise. It probably wouldn't be in a book.
Mm-hmm.
But to hear other people speak your truth is healing in itself.
I've been to a few of your open mic nights, and I think it's amazing what you do. How has that influenced your life?
Well, for someone who dropped out of high school and then go to college, open mics have given me all the wisdom in the world. It's a learning process that teaches you something from every single walk of life. And you see it in a different perspective, you apply it, and then you give it right back. So I am a poet 100%, and I stand behind poetry 100%.
We love that. So thank you so much for sharing all of your experiences and giving me your time. I really appreciate it. And I'm looking forward to editing all of this footage. And
thank you for choosing me.
Of course.
That's an honor in itself. So thank you.
Let's go. Nah. Here lies the story of a dreamer and a rebel, one who never settled, who's skipping pebbles to reach a level. This is my endeavor. Nobody's spitting like me. 10,000 hours spent studying Her Majesty. That ain't a fantasy. The hill ain't easy to climb. Too many crimes committed, admitted, looking for peace of mind when life was divine. And my main enemy was time. No illusion, collusion, got pollution within your eye. If I learned anything from the grind, too many end up blind. Highs going after whatever shines like votes to flies. You know I do this shit for real. Sign the devil's deal, not for power or glory. It comes with the skill. This is my story. The Puerto Rican shorty, the one and only mami chula, pronto toco el body. The camino pa choli, stadium lights, bigger price, bigger heights, and everything nice now. I know the never-ending hopelessness of stress when your best ain't even close to how the legends profess. And my profession ain't real enough. I don't carry a vest, give no pill, still I can heal your mind in ways never will. Artists the people who never amount to shit. They all die in a ditch, choked on needles filled with syphilis. I promise this ain't even close to the truth. The best memories are created by the ones who chose the booth. I got the blues and the clues. It's the life that I choose. Don't need no other juice. Ain't got nothing to lose. It's just me against me. No one else with the abuse, not obtuse. Sure, I was born with a few screws loose. Pass the key, free belief. Too much beef with myself. Fuck looking in the mirror, shit's bad for my health. I jump shelf. Back to the day spent locked away, and the pen gave way to stay in a meditative state. My dreams of fiends locked up like memories. They never leave, especially when I get the shit kicked out of me. Undoubtedly shows them to be the ring bearer. Photo of my arrow. Yo don't stay flying shitting on my Panamera. Me fui lejos del tema, señores, ¿cuál es el problema? No han visto una mujer con bolas para hacer lo que ella quiera, qué pena. Le prefieren a cualquiera menos a mí, ya que llevo tiempo sin práctica, como quiera les metí. ¡Sí!